Hello and welcome to the channel, and welcome back to another episode of My Month in Games. Now, I'm sure a few of you noticed that last month I didn't actually do one of these videos. The series hasn't gone away, it's just that yet again I had another month of purely GT Sport and a little bit of Dirt Rally 2, but I didn't want to do another one of these videos and not cover any other games. So last month there just wasn't enough there to actually cover. This month I've got a very nice mix of different bits. There's a couple of brand new games in there which I'm going to cover. Also, there's quite a few old ones actually that some of you may have played. There's one in there that's nostalgic to me, something I didn't even realise you could get on the PS4, but I've been having a lot of fun with that. And there's also a couple of VR titles. Again, if you follow the channel, you'll be aware that I got VR around Christmas time. I'm slowly building up quite a nice collection of games, and there's another couple this month that I've really enjoyed, and I'll go over those as well. Just before I do start talking about those games though, this is normally the section of the video where I would complete one of your challenges. But the problem is I haven't actually got any. So if you've got one, please send it down to me. It could be absolutely anything. So far I've had nothing but GT Sport challenges, which is a great thing. It could be anything that you want to send down to me. It could just be a time you want me to beat on a track. It could be a certain car that you want me to drift that is notoriously difficult. Or it could just be anything from within that game. But equally, if there's any other games you want to get involved with these challenges with, please do. Just use the comment section down below to let me know if you've got one and what it is. Alternatively, get in contact with me on Instagram, or you can contact me directly through PlayStation. If you need my PSN ID, just send me a message down below again and I will put that out for everyone to see. Right, let's kick this off then. I'm going to start with the two most obvious games here, and they're two games that I've been playing probably the most all month as always, which is GT Sport and Dirt Rally 2.0. Now, GT Sport, certainly at the time of recording this, within the last month we've had a half decent update. It contained 5 cars, one very important car to a lot of people that are certainly into drifting, which was the AE86. I have done a couple of videos on it. If you haven't had a chance to check them out yet, there is a drift setup available, and also I've done a livery guide for the initial delivery. The livery is not the most accurate in the world, but it will give you a good idea of exactly what you need to be doing to recreate that. Now, personally, I found the AE86 a little bit disappointing, certainly from a drifting point of view. It was one of those builds I just don't feel like I can ever get it quite right. You get it very close. Certainly the build that I put out, I was quite happy with, but at the same time, the car just doesn't feel as good as, well, most cars in the game. What did come out of that update, though, was the Gordini, and if you haven't had a chance to drift that yet, please give it a go. It is one of the easiest cars to use in the game, and you can have a lot of fun with it. And in Dirt Rally 2, it's been a very similar story. There's been a couple of big updates going on over there. We've had Sweden added into the game, which is a lot of fun, very challenging, but also Germany, which is what I did the latest video on. I absolutely love Germany. I think it's the best part of the game. My favourite course is by a mile. If you haven't had a chance to pick it up yet, you really should go and get it. Even if you just buy the standalone pack and just get the stages that come from Germany, you won't be disappointed. It's a lot of fun. It's so fast. You've got a load of 90-degree turns. Genuinely, give it a go if you haven't yet. But that's enough about those two games. You hear me go on about them all the time. Like I say, these videos really are about looking at the other things that I've been playing all month. Now, I'm going to start with the two latest games that I actually picked up. Now, Rage 2 will be the first one. This is brought to you by Bethesda and ID. It came out on the 14th of May. I was a huge fan of the original Rage, which came out way back in 2011. It plays very similar to Doom or Quake if you've had a go on either of those. So the gunplay itself is very, very fast paced. But with Rage you actually get an open world environment to explore as well, and vehicles to do that exploration with. Its setting is very post-apocalyptic wasteland. Think of Borderlands, just sort of less colourful. It looks very similar actually to the original Rage game from back in 2011. But obviously the graphics have been updated considerably. We have moved the whole console generation, so whereas before that was on the PS3, I'm now playing it on the PS4. In terms of reviews, it seems to be very mixed. I've actually read some really negative things about this game, but equally there's a lot of people singing its praises online. I think you have to take it for what it is. At the end of the day, if you like your fast-paced sort of action shooters, then it's a great game. If you're looking for something tactical and that's going to be really difficult to get through, this definitely isn't going to be the game for you. And equally, a lot of people are saying the story is very limited, but on the flip side, the people that have played through it, if you go and do all of the extra missions, the side missions, things like that, that you don't necessarily have to do, the game can actually last you as long as you want it to last you. So I think you're going to get out of it whatever you want to get out of it. But if you want a quick game to complete, you can get through the campaign apparently in about 12 to 14 hours, or alternatively, you can just take your time with it. So far, I'm only about 4 hours into the game, and I'm certainly not rushing it either. I've been doing as many side quests as possible, so I think this one's going to last me a little while. The one and only thing that I am going to say that is a little bit negative is the storyline so far. Now, I've only seen a very small portion of it. Like I say, I'm only a few hours into the game, but it does seem quite weak. Now, as an open world kind of game, you really need to be invested into those characters to really make you want to go and do all those side quests and things like that. And at the moment, I don't feel like that's there. Unfortunately, reading reviews online as well, it seems like it doesn't actually improve that much. So I think that may be a little bit of a strain whilst playing through it. I know it's an ID title, a bit like Doom and Quake. They're always going to be throwing out those one-liners and things like that, but they shouldn't be relying on the comedy aspect within it entirely. You do need a half-decent story. So unfortunately, if that's not going to pick up, that is going to be a bit negative. It's not going to stop me playing the game at all though. The gunplay is fantastic. Everything else seems really, really good so far. But I just wanted to let you guys know that that side of it is a little bit weak.
Oh, come on, Louie, that was my kill.
You gotta move a little faster, Walker.
The other new release that I've been playing this month is actually Team Sonic Racing. Now, this is a game I've been very excited about for a long time. I've had it on pre-order for absolutely ages. Now, you're all very aware that I really like the sim racing style of things. I really like GT Sport, Dirt Rally 2. But I have a huge soft spot for kart racers. I actually play Mario Kart a lot with the family. I'm also a huge fan of Crash Team Racing, which they're going to be remaking for next month. So you can be sure that's going to be covered on the channel. And also, the other franchise I've really liked is the Sonic Sega kart racing series that they've put out. The last one that was released was Sonic and All-Stars Racing Transformed. It was a game that I absolutely played to death. I honestly loved it. And this one promised to be just as good. They're actually using quite a few tracks that were in the previous Sonic racing games. But the big selling point this time round is actually the team mechanic. Now, this is something that could have either killed this game or turned it into the best one in the series. And I have to say, what they've done here is very, very impressive, and it works so well. The idea behind this is that even if you're playing on your own, you've got your friends round all sitting on the sofa playing split screen, or you're online, you will always work as a team. Now, the teams are set out into threes, and you can actually help each other through the race. So when you pick up a weapon, if it's something that you don't necessarily want, rather than just dropping it, you can actually offer it out to your teammates. Equally, the person who's in the lead for your team will actually create almost like a slipstream behind them, that when you get into it will actually boost you forward, so you can constantly try and help your teammates forward. The most impressive thing about all of this though is the fact that it just doesn't feel unfair, bearing in mind that it doesn't matter if you come first or not, because if your teammates aren't up there with you, chances are you're not going to win. If you come first and the other two come 10th and 11th, guarantee you another team, they'll have 3rd, 4th and 5th and actually earn more points than you. But like I say, it just doesn't feel unfair. The only reason that's going to happen is if you're not helping your teammates out. And it's such a new and different idea that it just feels refreshing. Kart racers are kart racers. You pick up a weapon, you shoot each other. Nothing ever really changes with it. But somehow these guys have made this game feel really unique, and it's paid off massively. I really hope this game gets the recognition it deserves. I'm going to carry on playing it for a little while, probably up until Crash Team Racing comes out, depending on which one does better than the other. I may well change my allegiances here, but I'm not going to tell you to go and run out and buy it. If you're not into kart racers, it's definitely not going to be for you. It is more of the same. However, it is different enough that if you are into kart racers and you were on the fence about whether you wanted to pick it up or not, I would say go and get it. You won't be disappointed. And now I just wanted to talk very quickly about 2 VR games that I've been playing this month. I have played a lot more than this, but these are just 2 that I put sort of more time in than anything else. They are both quite old games now as well, so you may already know a little bit about them. The first one is A Rush of Blood. It's actually brought to you from the guys that did Until Dawn. It came out basically when the PSVR first came out. It is a game that a lot of people really like. It's something that I had never tried before. I played until dawn quite a few times actually to get through and get multiple endings from it, so I figured I'd give it a go. I have to say, I think the game's been executed incredibly well. It's one of those things within VR, it's very difficult for people to move around normally at home whilst they're playing. Obviously you're completely blind within that headset. So quite often with motion mechanics, they actually, if you're trying to walk within game, they'll often just get you to click and it will teleport you to an area, which feels very unnatural. So by putting you in a roller coaster, it takes that element away. You sit in your armchair at home and you genuinely feel like you're sitting in that roller coaster. When it's taking you up and down those hills, it can be quite frightening. You can feel your stomach almost going as on the big drops. And the horror side of it as well is just so good, because the game is so dark. You're sitting in that train, you've got no control over the speed that you're going at. It's just pushing you through, and then when that clown comes jumping out of the darkness, it genuinely makes you jump out your skin. It's just a very clever idea, and something that I can't imagine many people would have thought up. But then it's had some great reviews, so it's hardly surprising. But if it's one of those things that you've never tried and you've got the stomach for it, I'd give it a go. It is surprisingly good how much fun you can have just sitting in a chair waving your arms around. But this game really goes to show you just how good that can be. The other VR title that I just wanted to mention very quickly is actually a game called I Expect You to Die. Now, it's not new, a lot of you may have already played this before, but I just wanted to mention this in case you haven't tried it yet and you do have VR. Now, it's one of those games that I managed to pick up incredibly cheap. I think it was about £3.99 I paid for it. I think the normal price is £19.99, but just you can pick it up when it's in the sale, and it's definitely worth looking out for. But it's another game just like Static. Now, Static I've looked at before. If you go back to the first one of these monthly videos I did, I went over that game at that point. But both of them are very similar in the sense that they put you in a situation where you've got to solve a puzzle. You feel very under pressure to get it done, so you kind of panic a little bit, but it really makes you think. Now, what I Expect You to Die does is it actually takes it a little bit further than Static and really pressurizes you in the sense that any false move you make, you're going to die. And there is so many ways to die within each level that you are going to end up doing these levels over and over and over again. But again, it's very clever because it makes you want to keep coming back and trying it. Now, I did this with the family. We were all having a lot of fun watching each other mess up and ultimately die. But it just never got old. We continued to die, but we wanted to keep restarting these levels until we'd got them right. And we had so much fun with it. And like I say, until you try VR and your head is in that space and you've got all the pressure going on around you and there's things literally going on everywhere around you, it's very difficult to explain it. But this is one of those games, if you get a chance, again, it's got great reviews, it's worth the money. Well, I say that, I probably wouldn't have paid £20 for it, but at the $3.99 I paid for it, I think £5 mark, it's a great purchase. Well, that's going to be about it from me. I am just going to show you some footage while I'm talking in the background there of a game called Windjammers. It's something you might not have ever come across, but it's part of my childhood. I remember playing it whilst going on the ferry across to France when I was a little kid. I used to love that game. Old arcade machines, just what a feeling. And I didn't even realise you could get this on the PS4. So I was so happy when I saw it on there, and yeah, instantly lost a good couple of hours to a very, very basic game. But like I say, that's about me done. I just want to say thank you if you've watched the video all this way. Use that comment section, like I said earlier, to let me know if there's any challenges you want to see me doing in the next one of these videos. Equally, if there's any games you think I should be playing, it would be great to hear from you. I'm sure there's plenty of things that I miss out on that I'm just not aware of at all. So again, like I say, please let me know. If you haven't done so already, please remember to subscribe to the channel and also give the video a like. It really helps them grow when you do. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you all on the next one.